Hello, I'm Julie Candler with the BBC News. A long-awaited report into Russian interference in the 2016 US presidential election is about to be released, with senior Democrats already angry about the process. The US Attorney General, William Barr, will hold a news conference in the next hour on the findings of the special counsel Robert Mueller. A redacted version of the report will be made public later. Our Washington correspondent Gary O'Donoghue says the Democrats have been fiercely critical of Mr. Barr.
They're pretty openly suggesting that he's not so much the Attorney General, but he's, in a sense, Donald Trump's news organiser, his defence, his shield. They don't believe that he's independent enough from the White House, and that's why there will be repeated clashes, I think, between the Attorney General and Democrats on the Hill. He is going to testify about the report to them at the beginning of May. That will be a lively session, I would suggest.
North Korea has demanded the removal of the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo from nuclear talks between the two countries. The Foreign Ministry in Pyongyang accused him of talking nonsense. Mr. Pompeo met the leader Kim Jong-un to prepare for February's summit with President Trump, which broke up without agreement. Jonathan Marcus has more details.
The American side clearly wants to see progressive but real steps towards nuclear disarmament. And it's clear that the North Koreans seem to have identified the people around President Trump, Mr. Pompeo in particular, as being, in their view, the brake on further progress. They appear to have implicitly made a decision that Mr. Trump, left to his own devices, might be more flexible. And so that's why I think we see this really rather extraordinary diplomatic attack on the US Secretary of State.
The World Health Organization says the number of people killed in 2 weeks of clashes in the Libyan capital Tripoli has risen to more than 200. 18 civilians are among the dead. The fighting began when forces loyal to the warlord, General Khalifa Haftar, launched an attempt to capture the city. Our correspondent Orla Guerin is there.
There are fears when you talk to people of all-out urban warfare in Tripoli, and this is a city of up to 3 million people. We have the offensive from General Haftar and his self-styled Libyan National Army. Initially, General Haftar predicted that this would be a lightning advance, that his forces would be inside the city within 2 days. That hasn't happened. They have been held off so far.
There are fresh allegations that prisoners have been tortured at a government-run detention centre in the Iraqi city of Mosul. The campaign group Human Rights Watch says that in recent months, people held at the Faisaliya facility have been stripped naked, beaten and suspended from the ceiling in agonising positions. World News from the BBC. Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan has condemned a militant attack in which 14 people were killed. Gunmen stopped several buses on the highway between Karachi and Gwadar in Balochistan, forcing people to get off. 2 escaped, but the others, thought to be off-duty members of the security forces, were shot dead. A Baloch separatist group says it carried out the killings. Rockets launched by Syrian government forces are reported to have killed 10 civilians in the rebel-held northwestern province of Idlib. The British-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said the missiles fell on a village and a camp for displaced people. The President of Indonesia, Joko Widodo, has declared victory in Wednesday's presidential election, citing unofficial results that give him about 54% of the vote. He said he had been congratulated by various heads of state, but his rival, Prabowo Subianto, has alleged widespread cheating. He says his own counts show that he won. A Swedish schoolgirl who sparked a worldwide wave of student protest against inaction on climate change has taken her campaign to the Italian Senate. Greta Thunberg, who's 16, told senators that adults had lied to children. She said nothing was being done to stop or even slow global warming, despite what she called beautiful words and promises.
We had everything we could ever wish for, and yet now we may have nothing. Now we probably don't even have a future anymore, because that future was sold so that a small number of people could make unimaginable amounts of money.
Germany's Supreme Court has rejected a $3,000 compensation claim by an Afghan asylum seeker who was locked up for nearly a month to await deportation. The court struck down an earlier compensation award and ruled that the authorities had been entitled to send him back to Slovakia in 2013. BBC News.